Hello everyone, I'm Sixer on my main channel of the British Comic. I also have a second channel which is called K72, which is my fanfiction, which is what this video is about. It's about my second channel and a reaction to what one of my viewers has done to my first chapter of Star Trek Defiant. And I'm really happy he's animated. You can probably see it. There's an animated version of K70's Star Trek Defiant unfinished, which means it's not complete. But I did watch some of it, and I'm really happy. And I'm hoping to get a hold of you, Patrick. So because I want to, we can do a partnership, and then because I'm actually gone back to the original script and rewriting it because there was things I wanted to change and I couldn't, and I want to go back to it and also change some of the voices, like Coleman. I find Coleman's voice is too shouty, so I need to change his voice. So I want to redo the whole thing. And if you're able to, mate, I would love for you to do the animation and a few things I want to go through as well to make some changes. Well, let's go through it and I'll show you what you mean. But you said this is just a rough. Fair enough, is what you had on mind, had on hand. But rather that, I love it. Here we go.
Star Trek Defiant. Prologue. 2268 Prime Universe. In an unknown region of Tholian space, the Constitution class, NCC 1764 USS Defiant, was responding to a distress signal, only to be caught in an interphasic spatial rift that caused her crew to experience sensory disorientation. This anomaly...
Right. You probably noticed that those who are Star Trek fans probably noticed that the starship that was used, the Constitution class there, was not actually the TOS one. It's the Strange New Worlds. And he said that. He did a bit kit bashing. So the ship is from Strange New Worlds, but the interior is all TOS. He says he's hoping to get the original model. I hope you do, mate, because like I said, I propose I want to come with you. I like what I see, and I've been meaning to wanted to go back to the first chapter and make some changes because a lot of changes things I have in there are not happening. I wanted to change everything up. The voices being one of them. One of the voices I wanted to change was Coleman, this guy here who's throttling the captain right here. I find he was too shouty, so I need to change the voice in there. And there's some other things as well. Like I did a retcon on for the second one because our Andorian here was a Boslik to start with, but I couldn't get the right imagery for a Boslik. So, and of course he's called it a Boslik in the first chapter, so I'm going to be changing that in the redone. And I went back to an Andorian, which people recognise. And then we have, of course, Captain Preston there. I think that's Hendrix. There's Rissar and Lapole. So let's continue on.
caused the crew to slowly fall into madness. An insanity that spread throughout the ship and eventually leading the crew to kill each other.
I like what you've done. I really am liking what you've done. Now, hold on, just pause there.
The Who is the...
And recite.
Oh, boy, did I screw up there.
Their grip throughout the point in the...
Alright, let me just...
actually leading the crew to kill each other.
Wow. I think on one put well, no, it's the badges, yeah. And you probably, I know it's nitpicking, but they're rather important because if we do agree to do this partnership, I mean, you just did it as a rough, just to see what it was like. Fair enough. But I wanted a few things I want to point out. If you agree to do this partnership, is that the badges in the TOS area, each starship had a different badge. It was sort of kind of identifying crest. The Enterprise had that delta. That was the Enterprise's delta. That was their crest. And the reason it was passed on, it continued in generations after that, is because and when the Enterprise went through the refit, it was to honour, tribute and honoured both the ship and its crew after completing the 5-year mission. So that became familiar to everyone. That was on every starship. But before then, every starship and every uniform had a different crest to its ship. So that is the Enterprise crest, the Delta, not the Defiance one. If I'll put that out, I know. In minds they are still the Delta, but I'm having to use AI generated images, and it always has that delta. So there's nothing I can do about that. I can't get the right delta I want on, the right insignia I want on there. Anyway, continuing on. That's Lepole, the first officer. I don't know whose head she just
That same anomaly eventually transported the Defiant.
Yes, like I said, the Constitution class is not TOS. It is Strange New Worlds. I'm hoping you will have the original TOS, but I like it. Like I said, this is a rough use. This is really rough and kit bash it. I love it. I love it so far. I'm really, really happy. Oh, little error here at the bottom. You notice that?
And her dead crew to the Mirror Universe and into hands of the Terran Empire. It was at this point in the Empire's history that with the aid of the Defiant,
I like this bit.
they tightened their grip throughout the quadrants.
Pew pew.
Time for us to change history, don't you think?
Yeah, that was the cue. No, that's some original opening Titan sequence, but the rest is going to be his. And I love it. Mwah! Chef's kiss. This is all my original. Now we're going to go into his animation. I like this bit here. Fantastic. Love that bit. Really nice drawing. It's about Right, that is the Defiance insignia. That is the Defiance badge on that one. I couldn't get it to work on the AIs, so there is always going to be a delta on it when it should be flat on there. We'll continue on there.
(2268) The Defiant Universe.
Captain's log. Stardate 5693.2 USS Defiant. Captain Ryan Preston reciting. We were responding to a distress signal in the Tholian sector, only to be caught in some kind of spatial anomaly. The Defiant seems to be phasing in and out between our world and who knows where. But to add to our problems, my chief medical officer informs me that some of the crew are exhibiting signs of sensory disorientation, and that if we...
Right, I'm also, if you do accept to do this, I will make the voices and I will edit everything in there that needs to be done. I will also, when I've done that, I will send it to you along with a copy of the script of that first chapter, and I'll have bullet points which will have where it's going to be, where it's set, what's the emotions, and description of characters. Now, for Hendrix, he's slightly grey-haired. For Hendrix, he's a slightly older, about my age. He's in his 50s and he's grey-haired. Kind of like Dr. McKell. Mind you, he's quite young there, really, but he's slightly old and he's grey-haired. But like I said, this is But mate, let me put it this way: when I first watched it, I was like a little school. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I almost had a heart palpitation when I saw that. I was absolutely ecstatic. My daughter wondering what the hell I was doing, what was going on. So.
we are not clear of the anomaly, everyone on board will go insane. We have already sent out a distress signal, but I fear that by the time any...
Yeah, well, that's Captain Ryan Preston, and that's Communications Officer Rassar.
Help arrives, it will be only to see the Defiant being completely pulled out of this universe. I have called for a senior staff meeting as my chief medical and science officer may have a solution to ride out the effects of the sensory disorientation.
Really good.
A solution that they've discovered in our history logs of a pre-Federation vessel.
Really, really good.
In the conference room,
Now,
Captain...
If we do ever do this, if we ever do this retake, this remix, reboot, I suppose you could call it, we'll be leaving out the narration, because when I did this, because he's done an overlay on this one. If we do this, the narration will be left out, and it will be I'll be using bullet points prompts for him to know what scene, what it is to do.
Captain Preston sits at the head of the table looking at the image of an old Starfleet vessel on the desktop terminal, and one of Starfleet's first Warp 5 starships. The Defiant's female Vulcan science officer, Commander Lepole, switched the image from the NX-01 Enterprise to the image of the Enterprise's captain.
The NX-01 Enterprise.
Right. Patrick, fantastic modelling. But dude, are those nipples really necessary? Are the erect nipples really necessary, mate?
It was under the command of Captain Jonathan Archer and one of the founding members of the Federation. During their mission in stopping the Cindy, they had to traverse a trans-dimensional disturbance cloud to avoid several weeks of traveling around it. But the cloud would make warp speed ineffective. The Enterprise would have to use impulse drive only.
Dr. Alex Hendricks, the Defiant's chief medical officer, was next to speak.
The disruption cloud has a slow and lethal effect on organic matter. To counteract the effects, their chief medical officer, Dr. Phlox, had put all of the Enterprise's crew in a temporary coma. Being a denobulan, the cloud didn't affect him, so he had to pilot and maintain the Enterprise while at the same time monitoring the crew's health until they were clear of the cloud.
Lieutenant Rassar, a green-skinned Orion and the Defiant's communications officer, looked a little worried, and she let it known.
So you're suggesting that we put the entire Defiant crew in a coma?
What we also need to do as well, if we do this, we need to make sure everything's correct in uniform. I mean, their rank strips, they're in TOS era. They had their rank insignias on their sleeves, and there were different types of patterns for showing what rank they were. So we need to look into that and see what that is.
That is correct, Lieutenant.
Said Lepole.
And we will be using this on each crew member.
Lepole handed her a small device that was no bigger than a coin.
What is it?
She asked. Dr. Alex Hendricks explained.
It's a variation of a neural inhibitor that Dr. Phlox created and used on the Enterprise crew with a few improvements of my own. It will temporarily lower the activity in your brain to a level that the effects of the anomaly would not take hold, and hopefully that it will not have any ill effects.
Lieutenant...
I like what you're doing with Shintara. I really do. She looks more like the not the original Andorian, but you've used the Andorian of Star Trek Enterprise, and I like that. Fantastic. I still keep it within what I like. Fantastic.
Lieutenant Kyle Farrell, the Defiant's helm officer, was a little alarmed.
Hopefully.
Right, got Farrell, and look at this beefcake here. There's a jarhead. Here, a tin marine. I like it. Notice his badge is not showing there. And his.
Lepole chimed in.
We are not exactly in a position, nor do we have the time to test these out safely, Lieutenant. The situation that we are experiencing is similar to what happened to the crew of the NX-01 Enterprise.
The doctor continued.
I'm getting reports from throughout the ship that a number of crew members are starting to showing signs of agitated and paranoia that had lead to violent outbursts. Sedatives are starting to have no effective due to our proximity to the
that's what it's all
anomaly.
done. But all in all, I might just bring myself up here so you can all see me. Boom, boom. All in all, I am very impressed, and I would love to do some more work with you, Patrick. To be a bit partnership in this. I mean, I don't get paid for doing this because I do it out of love, of my passion. Because I don't like what's happening with Star Trek right now. I really do not. I don't like what happened with Discovery. That's an absolute dumpster fire. Don't get me started on Picard, except for season 3. That's because Terry Matalas, who is a Star Trek fan, who has worked on Star Trek, did a fantastic job. He was allowed to do season 3, and I loved it. Strange New Worlds, no, I watched a couple of more episodes and I was done. And I think that's and let's not talk about Lower Decks. I avoided that like the plague. Monday Trek is absolute hot garbage. For me, it's TOS, of course, the original series, Captain Kirk. Then we got Next Generation, Captain Picard. We got DS9 Cisco. We got Voyager with Janeway, and then got, of course, lastly, the last of the good shows was Enterprise. And some reason why I did my K70 fanfiction site is because I wanted to keep Gene Roddenberry's vision alive. And I thought the only way I could do that is through fiction, and I want to keep doing that. And I would love for everyone out there to help me out, you can, by basically supporting this channel and liking and leaving comments, and let's get this channel to grow further. If we do the partnership and people love it and popular, maybe we'll probably do perhaps do a GoFundMe or a Patreon to help fund to do these things, because like I said, I'm using my own money out of my own pocket to do this. I'm not even putting everything I do, it goes into this. I'm doing this out of love, but I'm also like I said, I'm paying to use utilities like AI, the AI voice things synthesizers called Level Labs, and that's a subscription one. And you get a certain amount of characters per month depending on the pack you buy. And I'm also using the AI imagery to do the images and all that sort of thing. That's something else I'm paying for. And then with partnership, we'll see what happens anyway. And I say if Patrick, you are on board, I need you let me know. You can get a hold of me on Twitter, or now known as X, called @Sixer, lowercase, 1970. I will leave a link in the description below to that. We maybe can contact and get a hold of it. Perhaps do a face-to-face on Discord. Anyway, thank you very much. I'll also leave a link to Patrick's channel. Subscribe to him, give it a like, leave a message and tell him I sent you. And let's see what happens. So, let's see what the future is for the K70 channel. And Star Trek, let's keep it going and keep it how it should be. Let's keep it Trek. Let's keep it Gene Roddenberry. Till next time, have a great day. Bye-bye for now. Bye.